welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drew B. Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing it to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community. Because let's be honest, this is the greatest job on earth. It doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create an amazing life in sales. Today's guest, no stranger to the journey, someone I'm very excited to hear some stories from, my new friend, Genevieve Skory.
Hey, it is a great profession, isn't it? If you do it right, it's a great profession. If you do
I've
it
been
wrong,
told,
it's like nails on a chalkboard.
you're absolutely right. I've been told it is the hardest $50,000 a year job you'll ever have and the easiest $250,000 a year job you'll ever have. So how much truth to there that is for you to decide. But Genevieve, I want to jump right in. I want
Yeah.
to hear a crazy sales story from you.
Yeah. So I have a short one and a longer one. I'll do the short one first. The thing that pops out in my head the most is when I was still in my sale reluctancy stage. So like I went through I don't know that most people are born to say I want to be a salesperson. I think many of us fall into it and fall in love with it. I took a whole journey where I was like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not, even though I had like sales in my title, right? Not a salesperson, not a salesperson. So I was in my sales reluctancy phase, which means I was collecting checks, but really not really good at being a good salesperson. And I was at a sales meeting with a friend that I was mentoring, believe it or not. How you mentor someone in your sales reluctancy phase, I'll never know. And the client had come in. We were sitting around this table. We had a great conversation. I felt like we were winning the deal all day, every day, checking all the boxes. And then he said, "Hey, do you mind leaving your contact information with me?" Because this was back in the day where like you were leaving pieces of paper with people. And I reached into my bag and I was a mom. I'm a mom, but I was a young mom at the time. And I pulled out of my bag in between like Cheez-It crumbs and, some probably old chicken McNuggets, this most crumpled business card this thing was like 3-dimensional in ways it should not have been. And I set it down on the table. And my friend just looked at me horrified. Her eyes got super big. And when he looked away, she whispered to me, "Take that off the table." And like to this day, it is just a constant reminder to me, like, have your poop in a group. Like, before you go into your meeting, like show some self-respect, for goodness sakes. So that is like my favorite story, because I maintain to a lot of the folks that I work with, like if it could have been done, I did it. If it could have been slimy, I could not have done more of the dumb things if I tried. So I have been down that whole path, and I think we have to own that if we expect to be respected.
Oh, that is going to make a great clip. We got to own it if we expect to be respected. Come on.
Yes.
That is a gem. And you know what I love about that story is sales takes all types. Young moms, old moms, young dads, new dads, old dads, don't matter where you come from. Sales is a place where you can make a living, but there are definitely some nuances, if you will,
Yes.
to how you present yourself matters.
Yes.
And people are people, and we will 100% accept and, understand to a degree. However, doesn't hurt to have yourself somewhat prepared.
Yeah, no. Maybe look a little bit like you're serious.
and that's what I wanted to get into next, because I appreciate that. Hey, sometimes we're in a situation and we just got to do the best with what we have. And it sounds like in that moment, that's what you did. Yeah. And also it created a major epiphany moment for you that I would imagine translated further on into your sales career. So you pull out the crumpled card, you get told off by the mentee, and you're like, oh, I guess I got to get myself together. Where do you go from there with that?
Yeah, well, I will tell you still to this day, because I am still friends with this woman. She every time she's like, "Remember that time we're in the meeting?" So once you dig yourself out of embarrassment and humiliation, and this was about the time that I said to myself, "Self, come on! Like if you're actually really going to be good at this," and I wanted to be good at it, then learn the craft, like learn the
Mm,
thing. Because when I look back on why I was a reluctant salesperson, it was largely because I didn't actually recognize every great sales interaction I had as a sales interaction. I
mm,
only remembered all of the really bad kind of used carpet sale. It was like worse than being a used car. It was like a used carpet salesman kind of
mm,
techniques. I only remembered those, and that was my only reference point. But then when I started actually I'm dating myself here, listening to the CDs and the tapes and spending the time learning that, like, hey, like, there's actually a really great and rewarding way to interact with people. And it was really then that because I like patterns and I like to figure things out. And I became obsessed with, oh my gosh, how can I have conversations with people where I genuinely want to help them and see them succeed without them feeling like they're being sold to. And so to me, it was I went to all the conferences, I saw the sales speakers, I took the pieces of it, I put them together. I integrated them with my personality. So then it became a lot more fun. Then I knew exactly what I need to be doing. And I think that's part of my passion today is there are so many people right now that have sales jobs, sales professionals, entrepreneurs who have to sell. And I think there's a shrinking group of people that really teach it and do it well. And so people are out there kind of making stuff up and not having the success I think they're entitled to.
amen. I love that. And there's a lot of things I want to pull out of that story here, but there's one quote that I got from a mentor along the way, and it was methods are many, principles are few. Methods may
Mm,
vary, but principles never do. And I always
mm,
extend it out to, hey, there's a million ways to make $1 million. Anyone that's
yes.
ever done it will tell you there's a few things they had to do consistently to make that a reality.
Yeah.
And so what I love is how you realize that if you show up in sales and it's all about you, you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
When you start understanding that sales is really just serving at the highest level, and you start focusing on, hey, how am I going to help this individual that I'm talking to in this very moment get the thing that they want, whether they're trying to solve the problem that they have or they're in a position where they've got a little bit going on and they want something to celebrate.
Yeah.
That's usually like there's one or two reasons people are buying. They're either in pain or they want to celebrate not being in pain anymore.
Yes. Yes.
And so, how do you continue to build on the mindset side of the sales now that you've had all of this experience? Because what I learn is often when we're new, we don't know what we don't know. So we're just excited to get out there. But as we start absorbing more of that knowledge and as we start learning, you kind of go through another cycle of sales hesitancy. How do you keep pushing past that?
I think it is mostly about staying relevant in terms of trends.
Okay.
So to me right now is a great time for people, and there are so many people who are in sales and don't know they're in sales, but I think now
Mm,
is one of the best times to actually be in sales. So I enjoy reading about the topic as a whole. So for me, sales is the intersection of, motivation, inspiration, sales techniques, but also storytelling. And you, if you, and I love this notion of always choose to be a better version of yourself. So I've been through these periods of time where I competed for the thing, the extra comma on the check, the title, the trip, whatever. And all of those things are short-term rewards. Whereas if you focus on, what I really want to do, pardon me, I want to be the best person for myself because I actually love my customers. And if you're in a scenario where you can't say you love your customers, I think there's a problem. The best definition of sales I heard is, and I can't give credit because I don't remember where I heard it, but it was sales is the transference of inspiration. So it's, I felt something like actually like emotionally about what it was that I represented or sold. And I saw so much value in it. I actually I want to transfer that inspiration to you so that you feel the same way too. And it's exactly what you said. It's either the feeling of, relief, success, satisfaction, less pain. But to me, that's a very personal and I think super rewarding sort of experience versus here's a transaction, just sign this invoice and, let me send you a bill. And there are some people that's all that they want from a relationship. I tend to tell people, find out why you're in sales, be that best version of yourself, but pull out that part of it that you enjoy and look for customers that can match that energy and intensity. So I don't
Ooh,
sell to everybody.
I love that. I love using the line because when I'm training on sales, I'll teach people, hey, we need to have some pre-qualifying questions. Because like
Yes.
I need to know I'm a good fit to help you and also that you're a good fit to work with me. Because not all
Yes.
business is good business.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
can I get an amen out here? Like, hey,
Amen.
this,
Come
this is
on.
a real deal.
You got to be willing to let some of those fish off the hook in record time, right?
Amen. And
If it
and
looks
so
like a barracuda, it probably is. You should let it go.
and they're sneaky and they're slimy and they'll bite the heck out of you
That's
every dang
right.
time. but
And I
and
think that's when things change for people, right? When they actually get to a point where it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm not less than you. Like I'm here to help you. There has to be this like symbiotic energy and we have to enjoy working with each other. Otherwise, one of us is losing and it's not going to be me.
and that's what I wanted to kind of get like I got sidetracked by the fish story, but what I was getting to is the reward. Because when you
Yes.
start to understand these processes and you know
Yes.
what method you're going to utilize to go through the sales conversation, you're now able to reward yourself because A, you're serving someone to help get what they want. And
Yeah.
to steal a quote from Zig Ziglar, when you help enough people get what they want, you eventually get what you want.
And it's a beautiful
And
thing.
it is a beautiful thing. And what I think gets so twisted and what's so interesting and why I'm so grateful to have amazing guests like you to bring your perspective to this conversation is that everyone's reward is a little different.
Yes.
For some people, it's the Rolex, the car, the house, the purse, the shoes, the whatever. But for some people, it's time with their family.
Yep.
For some people, it's just knowing that they woke up and they got a message from someone that just said, "Hey, I really appreciate what you helped me through yesterday." That could mean so much more than a Rolex or a card. Like you don't know. People have love languages. That's a great book for sales professionals. The
Yes.
five love languages
100%. You got to
because those
know.
rewards matter.
Yes. Yes. You have to know that about yourself. If you manage a sales team, you have to know that about your sales team. And it helps significantly if you know that as well about your customers or potential customers.
It's so interesting to me how when you go through that shift that you had mentioned earlier and you start realizing, hey, like I have a very powerful skill set
Yep.
that I can communicate with another individual and influence them to make decisions that they didn't want to make. And we all know that getting someone to make a decision is like literally the hardest thing on the planet to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Genevieve, Genevieve, where do you want to go for dinner?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know.
What do you feel
What
like?
should we
And
do today?
that's always the next question, right? Because it's really about a feeling. What do you want to
Yes.
do today is a different part of the brain than what do you feel like eating, right?
Mm.
And I think sometimes I love the notion of people asking questions, but I think you have to ask impactful questions, questions that put people in that decision making part of the brain, which, by the way, is the emotional side first. Then the brain goes, well, now I need additional information to validate all of this decision making I've made. But that's, I think, why people struggle with, and also don't ask questions that set off their I'm being sold to alarms. You know, today, I have to tell you, today, people are shopping you all day, every day, thanks to the internet, social media. Like, you are under a microscope. And if anything that you do sets off people's I'm being sold to alarms, you're done. So you got to go down that path of how can we both benefit? How can I help you in a way that you find of value?
Ooh, and all right, so this brings up a really powerful question, and I haven't had the chance to ask anyone this. Usually I get asked this question a lot, but we're getting into authenticity and, being able to have
Yes.
that level of communication and those big red flags. With AI,
Hmm.
people love it. It's this huge buzz of like, we can get you an AI setter and a caller and a communications person and all these things. I believe, actually, you know what? I'm going to wait and I'm going to hold my belief because I want to know how you feel before I share my views.
Yes.
How do you feel about AI and its place in the sales world?
I think it has huge, huge, great. I think there's huge, great opportunity for AI to automate parts of the funnel where relationships don't really come into play. So, for example, if you want to do a little bit of um, question and answers, in the beginning part of the funnel, like, okay, like we're going to sort people at the very beginning of it, but I think you have to quickly get to a place once that's done that you're into like a human connection. So I like it for automating things that don't they're not part of my 20%, my 20% of things that are going to produce the biggest results for me. So I think that's key, and I think it's new. So I think we have a long, long, long way to go. I'm not like, listen, somebody the other day put me into one of their AI things. And at first I was like, oh, I'm talking to so and so. And very soon it occurred to me, I'm like, you're not talking to so and so. He doesn't have he doesn't have time for you. Like, this is his AI bot talking to you. And then I lost complete interest in the conversation, right?
Oh my
So,
gosh. Go
you
ahead.
know,
I have a story to piggyback on
like
that, but go ahead.
like 10 questions into it, I'm talking to the bot. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, if it was a real human and they thought I was a qualified lead, they would have said, hey, let's just talk. Let's schedule some time, let's just talk. But I do like it for some aspects. I also like it as a way to do some mastermind work with, like, hey, I have a customer, this is what I've sent this customer, this is who I like. If you really understand how to use the prompts to act, it can act as a sales consultant and give you some good ideas in terms of, how do you best respond. But you have to pay attention. There's never like this set it and forget it. I was on the internet, in social the other day, and somebody was like, I just am looking for the best set it and forget it. So I'm like, get a laundromat. That's like the only set it and forget it. Sort of like, sales is not set it and forget it if you want to be successful, right? So I think there's
Oh,
places for it, but nothing replaces people want to buy from you you because they like, trust, and want to work and believe in your ability to help them succeed. But I could go on. That's like another whole podcast. I'm just
Oh yeah, we could definitely go deep. And so what's interesting to me is I agree with you 100%. I think there are amazing opportunities to leverage the AI and these different pieces of it to speed up the process through which we communicate, because that's
yeah.
the number one thing. That's why Call the Damn Leads exists, because like I had a marketing company and I would get people leads, and the one thing they wouldn't do was pick up the phone and call the damn things. It's
Right.
crazy.
I
So
know.
like I'm 100% with you. And also that whole set it and forget it crowd and these people that are leveraging it to try to carry on conversation. There's a very very well-known influencer, guru, entrepreneur out there whose whole thing is about buying back your time
Uh-huh.
and delegating all of these things and not spending your time on tasks that are below your pay grade, which I
Mm-hmm.
100% respect. I talk about it in my books like all day, every day. Get that.
Yep.
And also somehow I tagged him in a story on Instagram. And I kid you not, Genevieve, within 10 minutes, he was back in my DMs asking me questions. And I thought to myself, well,
Oh,
maybe,
well. Uh-huh.
maybe, okay. And we start conversating, and I start kind of going, well, I mean, I appreciate that you responded, sir. And also know that realistically, I'm not someone who you would be spending time on if you truly believe in the things that you're teaching everybody on a mass scale. So, respectfully, if it's not you and it's someone from your team, I would much rather you just tell me that, and I'm totally okay with that. No, totally just tried to play it. No, it's me. I check them all the time. Immediate red flag. Nope, absolutely not. Would never do business with you. Don't care that you're selling to millions of people across the country and the globe right now. That's not authentic, and I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Isn't
Agree.
that crazy?
Agree. Agree. Same. Same.
And that's
Same.
the thing. Again, we could probably sit here and nerd out on the AI and all things sales related, but I've had such a great time getting to know you during this conversation that I truly want to come and learn more about you and what you have going on, Genevieve. So how do we come and find you? What's your website? Like, how do we learn more about your story?
Yeah. So the best thing I think right now is for people to hit me up on social media. And it's literally my first name underscore last name. So Genevieve underscore Skory at on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever you're hanging out, I am probably there. And I actually do personally respond to my my
maybe
DMs.
maybe this is the episode that goes viral because it finally gets to him and someone's like, "Did you see them talking the crap about you?" Like,
We might be talking about the same person, so I'm just saying.
just saying. We'll
Mm,
both sip our tea, and with
mm-hmm.
that,
Right? What's
uh,
that?
Genevieve, I have one last question before we get out of here because
Yes.
again, I'm truly grateful. You've shared some amazing gems with our audience and listeners today. I've had a great time, and what I love about this show and sales is that there's always someone new coming in the door.
Yeah.
Right? This could be someone's first day in the sales industry, or they're just signing on for a new job and they're like, I'm going to go listen to a podcast because I know I can learn some things. And by God, they land on this episode today. And it's this amazing timing. And they're here with us. And
Yeah.
we can give them one piece of advice to be successful in sales. What would you tell them?
I would tell them do the hard things authentically. Do the
Mm,
hard things authentically. So if it feels weird, it is. Still do the thing, but find a way to do it so that you authentically feel like you have made a connection, because beyond a connection, you are never going to get a sale.
couldn't say it better myself. You guys heard the lady. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor. Send it to a friend, send it to a colleague, share it on social media, tag at Call the Damn Leads, tag at Genevieve, which I'm going to put her stuff in the show notes so that you can spell it because it's fancy and I butchered it at least 2 or 3 times through this episode. So
There's a lot of vowels, a lot of vowels.
we'll make sure we spell it out for you guys so it's easy to find. And again, go follow her. Her content is going to be amazing just based on the conversation her and I had today for this short amount of time, which again, we could probably do this all day long. So Genevieve, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you. And, everyone out there, keep doing it. Have a good time doing it. This was great. Thank you.
You got it. Well, you know what to do next. Head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Bring us your sales story. You've got some fun things to talk about. I'm sure of it, because you're here hanging out, listening to us go on about all the crazy things that happen in sales. So head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your info. We'll see you on the next one. You know what to do from here. Go call the damn leads. Later.